Yo, what's going on, guys? Crispy Flakes here. For today's video, we are going to play a game of NBA overrated, underrated. So we're on this Instagram page called NBA County, and we have a slew of different NBA players, current and prior, and we have to try to predict if the majority of people think they are overrated or underrated, man. So before we get going on today's video, if you guys don't mind leaving that like, and of course, subscribing if you're new to the channel. Thank you guys so much for that, but let's go ahead and get going on this. Starting off with LaMelo Ball. And what I like about this too, or I guess maybe don't like, or have a choice to be made at least, there's no properly rated. So you're either saying, you know, one or the other, right, man? So LaMelo Ball, do I think he's overrated or underrated? I don't think, okay, I guess I have to think about it like backwards. I don't think LaMelo is or do I? No, I think he is underrated. I really do. Because I think when it comes down to it, LaMelo Ball, you know, some people don't like him because of his ties to, like, LeVar Ball and, you know, the BBB brand and, you know, all that stuff, man. Some people think his personality is kind of interesting. But so I think if you took a more of a tamed personality and you were like, okay, this is his skill set and it was LaMelo Ball, you'd be like, wow, that dude is fantastic, right? This guy puts up some crazy-ass numbers, man. I think he's underrated. More so than overrated. I'm going to go with that. And we have 63% agreeing with me. So thank God for that one, man. Okay, next up we have LiAngelo Ball. Okay, so the best way to put LiAngelo Ball is that he's obviously known as the third Ball brother. And with that being said, that is a big reason why he's given certain opportunities as far as playing with NBA players and, like, trying out for summer league teams and G League teams and all that stuff. I think it's his ties. But do I want to use that against him? Because I think about it, like, similarly to this. Like, Bronny James. If Bronny James' name was, like, Victor Smith, nobody would really care about him. But because he's LeBron's son, it's like, okay, well, yeah, it's Bronny James, right? So would we care about LiAngelo if he wasn't a Ball brother? And I'm going to say we probably wouldn't care, but I also recognize that this kid's got some damn skill. He's got some skill, man. Like, I feel like, and I don't want to, like, hold the name against him because, you know, I've always felt that was kind of like, that kind of sucks, man, where it's like you're known because you're part of this family or, you know, a celebrity person or whatever. So I think LiAngelo could help an NBA team. And for that reason, I think he's underrated. 70%. Let's go, man. Okay, yeah, that's just my feelings about him. Okay, next up we got Cade. Okay, Cade, do I think he's overrated or underrated? Been seeing a lot of Cade Cunningham disrespect. I feel like he's been getting a lot of hate, and a lot of that is, you know, because he was the #1 pick, but also plays for the Pistons. Everything I've seen about him has been fantastic. So from my point of view, I think he's underrated, man. Like, it just seems like people really want to hate on him because he's on the Pistons and stuff. So this kid is literally the full package. Like his summer league game, he knocked down damn 7 3-pointers, guys. He shot like 60% in summer league from the 3-point shot. You know, if there was anybody else's rookie doing that, they'd be saying how he's the damn next Michael Jordan. So I think he's underrated. Yes, 58%. Okay. Oh, Jaylen Green. Jaylen Green coming second after Cade in this video, in the draft. Okay, Jaylen, overrated, underrated. So a lot of people have been saying this kid's personality and stuff, the way he's been talking as of late, they say he needs to kind of say less. I don't think that takes away from his game at all. I don't think Jaylen's a bust or anything like that. I don't think he's overrated. Although people are saying that he's like, I've already heard things like he's the next Kobe, like he's the next Michael Jordan. So that is probably overrated from that mindset. But underrated, I think, is, I don't think he's the next Michael Jordan. I think he's the first Jaylen Green, and that's okay. And I liked his G League route. But I'm going to go based off of people saying that he's the next Michael Jordan, and that makes him overrated. Underrated. I'm sorry, man. That makes me look like such a hater. That's the fun thing about basketball, man. Okay, I've been dormant for damn 15 years as a Piston fan. Let me have my damn fun, okay? I had reasoning. I didn't just say stuff. I had my reasoning. Okay, next up we have Isaiah Thomas. Overrated, underrated. He's underrated. I mean, the dude's a bucket. I know the defense isn't good, but there's a lot of players in the NBA whose defense isn't good. This man just dropped, like, what was it, 81 points or something like that. He's still got something in the NBA. And, his time with the Pelicans, you can't really use that because he didn't play that many games. He was, rusty, coming back from the NBA and stuff. I think he's underrated. Karl Malone, overrated, underrated. Well, he's like top scorer, so I mean. But also he had John Stockton passing to him. He ain't got no rings. I think he's overrated. Overrated, underrated. Okay. I don't really see. That's my thing. It's like I don't think he's underrated. I think we look at Karl Malone like that's a good ass player. But also I will say basketball speaking wise, I do think a lot of that is taken away because of some of his sketchy past. Like if it was for the sketchy past, maybe people would be a little bit more like pro Karl Malone, but he is also garbage. So not as a basketball player, as a human. At least from the things I've read. Man. Just told based off what I read. Next up, we have Scotty Barnes, overrated, underrated. So I got a lot of people saying Scotty Barnes Rookie of the Year. Actually, if you guys saw my presentation that I did, my YouTube video, I said Scotty Barnes Sixth Man of the Year and Rookie of the Year. So you might say overrated from that mindset. But also, a lot of people laughed at this pick. They were like, what did they do? They should have took Jalen Suggs. So I think he's underrated in that mindset. The kid's actually got a pretty form, too. Like, people saying Ben Simmons, I see a better player than that. Like, I really think he could be better. I'm going to say underrated. I think Scotty Barnes is going to surprise a lot of people next season, at least the next 2 seasons. Next up, we got Vucevic, overrated, underrated. Once again, I think, but I feel like I'm doing a lot of underrated in this case. But it's just kind of how I feel, and that's kind of how I got like the players being selected here. It's like, yeah, underrated. Vucevic is one of the most talented centers in the NBA. He can do a little bit of everything. He's been relatively healthy as of late, as far as I know. I like him in this new role on the Bulls. I didn't like him as a number 1 option, but maybe number 2, number 3 option, whatever he is next season. I think that works a lot. I think he's underrated. 30 or 62%. I've been right so far, with the exception of Jaylen. My bad. We got John Wall, overrated, underrated. I mean, the dude's getting paid $44 million a season. He can't really stay healthy. I think a lot of people think that John Wall is going to return to some sort of like all-star caliber player that he once was. I just don't know if that's the case. I think John Wall needs to have a sit down with himself and be like, what is my role in the NBA going to be going forward? And I think his best role is looking at himself like Derrick Rose and realizing you don't need to be a starter to have a big impact on a team. You just got to be a hard worker, man. And I think eventually we're going to see, I don't know if he gets bought out by the Rockets. It's a lot of money to buy out, man. But I will say, I don't know if he's even in the short term, the full-time starter on the Rockets, man. I think I'm much more interested in seeing like a Jaylen Green, Kevin Porter backcourt. I got to say overrated. Sorry, John Wall. I loved it when you came in the NBA and you did the Dougie. You taught me how to Dougie. We got Andre Drummond. This one's interesting, man. Overrated, underrated. Once upon a time, Drummond was the most overrated player in the NBA, if not one of the most overrated. Over the past few seasons, once again, once he left Detroit, people actually cared, he was exposed as a guy that takes bad shots, and the reason he grabs 20 rebounds is because he's catching 7 of his own missed layups each possession. But that was then. This is now. I think there is a lot of cases where Drummond still is a starting center on some NBA teams. I feel like a team like the Charlotte Hornets, he could have been utilized pretty nicely over there. But he is now on a 1-year deal behind his father, Joel Embiid. And I think he's better than that. And it's only 1 season, so we'll see in time. But based off that role in particular, I think he is now considered underrated. I think he's better than the role that he has. Yeah, overrated is like, I would say that if it was a few seasons ago, but we all know about Drummond now. We all know. And it's not like he's getting like some max contract or anything. He's not even getting $15 million seasons, bro. What is it, like $3 million? I don't know, man. So that's my reasoning for him. Ben Simmons, I think, is underrated. I'm a big Ben Simmons fan. I realize he doesn't make 3-point shots. I realize in the playoffs he doesn't always step up. But as far as the playmaking, the quickness for a 6'10 player, the defense, he's underrated. Yeah, he's not overrated. He's definitely not overrated. We as an NBA society, we care too much about 3-point shots and stuff like that, man. Now, with that being said, I'm sick of all the BS of, seeing videos posted, oh, here's Ben Simmons, in the lab working on his 3-point shot. We just never see it. But I think there's a lot of aspect of this kid's game right here that we definitely underrate and we don't appreciate. We appreciate. Here we got Rudy Gobert, overrated, underrated. I like him on the Utah Jazz team. He gets paid a lot of money. This guy is making a lot of money. And I think in such an offensively heavy season, which I guess maybe takes away from the Ben Simmons thing, but still, I feel like, a guy like Rudy, definitely a championship type of center. But can he be the highest or second highest paid player on a championship team and you're still going to find success? That I'm not so sure about. But the defense and everything, it's still like just like some things around the basket. I think he's more underrated than overrated. I don't really see how he's overrated because I see like the defense and everything. I'm like, that's still so important to the game of basketball. Yeah, I don't know, man. Here we got Duncan Robinson, overrated, underrated. So Duncan Robinson was a big fan of his when he went to the University of Michigan. I remember like his second season playing, I said this kid is going to be in the NBA. I didn't know he was going to be this good in the NBA. He just got himself a $90 million contract. He's got pretty good length where maybe he's not the greatest defender, but he's got enough of a body to put himself, in people's way and stuff like that. The 3-point shot's elite. Do I think he's worth $90 million? Especially probably going to be a backup, right? I don't see him starting unless he's starting at the 2. Or his hero probably starting at the 2. You can't really put him at the 4. So I think for the $90 million contract, I'm going to say overrated for that. I respect what Duncan Robinson does. He's getting paid a lot of money, though, man. To be a role player, I don't know if I like that. I think that overrates it a little bit. And maybe, I guess there is something to be said. There should be a difference between overrated and overpaid. So there's so many cases where I just want to put properly rated. I feel like we know who Duncan Robinson is, and that's okay, right? Okay, next up, we have Kemba Walker, 1,000,000,000% underrated. I understand the knee stuff, like the injury, but that's an injury. Like, that's not his fault, right? Like, injuries happen. Not to mention, he's on the Knicks now on a 1-year, $8 million contract. That's fantastic. He was on a team where his skill set wasn't really needed or utilized correctly. The Celtics need defense and playmaking at the point guard spot, not scoring. The Knicks need a guy like this. And Kemba Walker's out to prove some haters wrong next season, man. Underrated. 1,000,000,000%, man. 51-49. Hey, I'm definitely on the underrated club for Kemba. Okay, we got Devontae Graham. Overrated, underrated. I don't think Devontae is better than Lonzo Ball. I do think Devontae, in my opinion, Devontae is a 6-man point guard, scoring point guard on a championship contending team. That's what he is. I know we could put the ball in the basket, but at the cost of efficiency, he was like 37%. They had that one really good season. He was on the Hornets. I think the Pelicans took a big step back with some of the skill sets they lost with Lonzo, because Lonzo was also like a 40% 3-point shooter. So I mean, it's not like you're really even saying like, oh, they're getting like this elite scorer over Lonzo. I would say Devontae's more overrated than really underrated. Really, I mean, go in the comments and change my mind. I am open for my mind being changed. That's just how I feel about Devontae. I recognize he's a good player. Okay, well, I am in the minority on that one, man. So, yeah, I could be wrong. I could be wrong, which is okay. I don't mind being wrong. We got Bam Adebayo. I'm going to say underrated. Even by me, I feel like I don't give Bam enough credit, especially defensively. He can do a little bit of everything in the center spot too, man. He's underrated. No doubt. 77%. Yeah, even myself, I don't give him enough credit. I should give this kid more credit. And I think we got the last one right here. We got Kelly Oubre. Oubre. Kelly Oubre, I think, is an underrated player because of last season. Like 2 seasons ago when he was on the Phoenix Suns doing this thing, we were all like, damn, this kid athletic and knocked down the shot and everything. Previous season, he had a very bad start for the Golden State Warriors, and that kind of stuck around with him. He's now on the Hornets, going to have a decent chance there to be part of the rotation, but I think overall underrated. So there we have it, guys. That's all the players available. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you want more like this, leave a like on it so I know to like seek out more stuff like this, but this is a lot of fun, man. So I'm sure I got a lot of people angry in the comments, maybe happy too, man. If you're happy, let me know in the comments. But yeah, that's all we got. Thank you all so much for watching. Peace out, my friends.